Hi there, this is Denise, and I am wanting to show you about my Servlet programs that I have created here, or mini app, if you will. Here's like a flow chart that I quickly created for it. Basically, it starts out as an index HTML. It says choose a color, and it goes to this servlet. You don't see anything in the servlet, but it redirects it to the color JSP. After setting the session and the attributes and stuff. And then this will display some questions, and like you can choose another color if you'd like, or are you done with the colors? And if you're not done, it will just take you back into the servlet and let you do more and more colors if you want it. And if you are done, then it goes to servlet 2. It checks to make sure you're done. And if you are done, it goes to is done JSP, and it will display a few things and end your session. So if you're not done, because there is an option where the second button, radio button, will give you an option to say no, then it will take you back to the color. And let me show you that, okay? I'm just gonna run this for you. Here, wait, first I'm gonna do this. I'm going to run it with my default web browser, okay, which is Chrome. Oh, it started off on the last page because that's what I told it to do. So we'll just start it here. So this says enter color, and I'm going to enter pink, and I'm going to submit it. And so the pink comes up. I can do that again and turn it to turquoise. And then you can see how it says you can actually say, no, I'm not done, and submit it, and it just brings you right back. So you could change it again if you like, or you can say, wait a minute, I am done. And then it says, I'm going to just connect your session. You said you were done, redirecting you to Google. And so it redirects you. Now, I can go back here, even though I have disabled this, and I shouldn't be able to. But interestingly enough, let's change this and run it in Firefox. Instead, let me show you how it acts in here. Okay, so we'll get rid of this part. No, I didn't want that. Okay, so enter color, and this doesn't give me a list of color here, so we went with pink. You can actually change it to, okay, so are you done playing with the colors? And I can say no just to show you that it's doing the same thing, and then I'm going to say yes this time. And see how it says I'm going to disconnect your session in 5 seconds. So let's just wait for it. It did go to the Google, but oh, now it's allowing me to go. It allowed me to go back, but it didn't take me, it only allowed me to go back 2 screens. This is show color, okay? So I was really here, and it's actually taking me back to here. So Firefox is actually acting more like I would expect it to, or kind of like I wanted it to, than Chrome, because if I go back here, it is allowing me to go back. It has forgotten its settings, the color settings, but if I go fast enough, I can actually go right all the way through these. Even though I have disabled the session, I've disabled the headers, I've disabled everything, and it's still doing that. I can't seem to get that to ignore that. Even so, interestingly enough, Firefox acts differently than Chrome, and you can bet that Safari acts differently from that, and whatever web browser that you're using. I think I saw one called Cora or something. I don't know. These are the only 3 that I have really played with, but they all act differently. And so that's a real interesting fact that if you were to create an app, you have to realize that the world is using many different browsers, and so you kind of have to test for those. And I don't know really what the most efficient way of doing that is, but I just thought I would point that out. So here is my code. And I start out with an index just saying, and you saw it, basically just pick a color, and then it goes to the servlet, which basically gets the parameter of color off of out of the request, and then I set up a set, or I get the session and I set it to the session, and then I redirect it to show color. So this goes on, and this is just nothing huge, except for the only thing that's different here is that I use JSTL to just put that the color straight into the HTML right there. And these are the radio buttons, and that's why I had it go either. I could have just said, if you want to be done, and then yes, instead of giving them two options, but I did anyways. So, and then it'd either go back to the servlet, we've already seen it, or it would come here. And this basically, okay, so this is one aspect that I had learned doing this, is because this form is sending it as an action to Servlet 2, and when it's implicit, when you don't say if it's a get or a post or whatever here, it's implied that it's a get. So it's sending it here, and what it's doing is it's sending it with a parameter because it's a request at this point again. And so if I were to try and take it off the session, it doesn't know about it because it's sending it that way. And so you just basically find out if they're done or not, and then you check, and then you redirect based upon that. And then is done. This was another thing. It's just words. I'm going to disconnect your session, and this right here is the clearing of the cache. It's supposed to work. I've looked all over. It's supposed to work, and it's just not. And I can't. If I wanted to, I could put this in every single one of these and make it so that all of them lose their minds or all of them lose their memory. But the problem is the way I have designed this. It needs to know it's passing one thing to another, and it needs to know, and it loses its color when I do just change the cache on it. It's not like there's secure pages that they need to be, but I just wanted to understand this aspect. And if I was making the login application, I guess what I would do is there would be some logic in all of it saying, hey, if you have, I would put logic in there. But this is passing a color, not necessarily a username and a password. And so that is basically it. This is the last cool thing is this header sends it to this URL, and then you can tell it how many ever seconds that you want it to wait, which was the 5 seconds. So that was kind of cute. And that's about it. My application is, it's not the most sophisticated thing. I didn't add the database portion in yet. I could have, but I just wanted to prove that I learned a few things about how to work the servlet, and hopefully that is enough. I mean, I want to play with it more because it's really fun. It's really fun. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a good day.